All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. I am back home finally. Taking a look at markets. Give me 1 second. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. I am back home. Sounds good. Let me know if yeah. Today we got GDP data, Q3 updated GDP for, I think it's Q3 initial estimate GDP is what I think it is. If you take a look at Oracle slightly red. You take a look at the Q is slightly red but very flat. If you take a look at the SPY is at 684. So I had the market chaos thumbnail, but I felt bad about it because the market's pretty freaking flat, and so drink my coffee. And apparently I got the wrong scroller at the bottom, so I'll have to fix that as well. Yeah, markets are slow, data watching, and we got potential Santa rally watch here. Futures are slightly green. Gold is at fresh record highs. If you take a look at gold, Nvidia is still at the 180, so it held most of yesterday. Gold over $4,500 an ounce for gold futures. So you can see gold on the bottom chart right here. Gold 45.1980 an ounce. It's a crazy move for gold. Yeah, gold flying. I'm a little bit earlier for my normal show, but that's all right. I hope he does live with a British accent. That's not what you're going to get today. I'm sorry. That's just not what you're going to get. Yeah, Bitcoin's still around 89 to 90,000, back under 88, 87, 7, 88 for Bitcoin right now. Gold again at all-time highs. We got Q3 GDP data expected around 3.2%. Durable goods building permits, core PCE prices, industrial production capacity utilization, and more, I think, today. Let me make sure. But I think we got a lot of data releases coming out today, to be honest here. I think we got a good bit of stuff. Let me make sure. And I'll get the scroller going as well. Yeah, back in the good old kitchen here, where I am. I figured maybe I could start the stream a little bit early today. I closed out early yesterday. So we're gonna update our scroller here. There we go. All right, so our scroller is working now. We had gold at record highs at 4,500. We're definitely watching that. I'm watching the NASDAQ as well, although the NASDAQ is very flat today, guys. It's not really doing too much stuff. Chat up. Back to the basement. Yeah. Back to the kitchen. All right. Yeah, and again, it might be a quiet day. I mean, look, we got data releases today. I'll put a timer up. Q3 data today is expected. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah, so we got, I don't even know. Yeah, we should get, oh, we get the ADP data today as well, guys. I forgot. We get ADP prelim employment data today at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. ADP weekly employment change data. So we get jobs data today as well. We'll see what that looks like. We do get jobs data today. We get ADP weekly employment. We get Q3 GDP at 8:30. It's saying we get PCE inflation, although I do think today's data is just an update to the previous one. But we'll cover that anyway. We get CB consumer confidence at 10 a.m. We get Canadian GDP at 8:30 as well. So we get US and Canada GDP. It's expected at 3.3% quarter over quarter for GDP. Durable goods expected at 0.3%. So yeah, silver and gold are kind of crazy, to be honest. Again, we did pass that combine that we've been trading. We passed it yesterday. First try. Maybe I should have gone with the no activation fee option because we passed it first try. What's up, Farmer? Y'all do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. But yeah, we got ADP employment data coming out in about an hour. I'm going to put a timer up for that specifically just because that drops at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. So that drops in like an hour and 13 minutes. Or an hour and 3 minutes, I mean. A little bit less than that now. This drops at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. We'll put a timer up. Last time I think the jobs numbers showed up at a gain of 4750, if I remember correctly. I have to look. Okay, let's make sure we got this coming out today. Yeah, so it says it's coming out today. So here's ADP's website. It says we're going to get the weekly employment numbers today, 12/23. 12/23 weekly prelim estimate is what it's showing today. NASDAQ's still breaking down here. I will short this if we get some better opportunity. But if we take a look at yields this morning here, yields are still pretty much the same at 4.145% for 10-year Treasury yields, again at 4.145%. If we look at the CME watch tool, it's pretty much unchanged. It's a little bit lower than yesterday. It's under 20% now. CME watch tool, again, is currently sitting at 17.7% likely of a 25 basis point cut. So now it is 82% likely that we pause in January. Now maybe this data will swing it a little bit. Again, quarter 3 GDP though is expected at 3.3%, 3.3%. And again, I'm curious to see, like, look, if we look at PCE on the website, here's the PCE section of the Bureau of Economic Analysis website. It does say the next release is an update of July, August, and September data on December 23rd. And so we're going to look at that when this comes out as well. So we have some PCE inflation. I do not think it's October data. I think they would have scheduled this, but I do think we're going to get an update of July, August, and September data today on the 23rd. And so that's what I'm thinking here. I'm not 100% sure. And if I look at the Bureau of Economic Analysis website and we look at the news release schedule, it does show the quarter 3 GDP data, initial estimate data comes out today, but it doesn't really show anything else. Get the full schedule here. Yeah, so it does show quarter 3 GDP. Personal income and outlays is rescheduled from November 25. We don't have much out of that. So again, I think whether we get PCE data will be up in the air. The last one we got was September right here on December 5th. So that was like 2 weeks ago. So whether we're going to get that is up in the air. So AM shares are up. Alibaba is considering ordering 40,000. Alibaba is considering ordering 40,000 units of AMD's MI308 AI accelerators. Options trading volume surging. Snapchat launched AI-powered video creation tools. Animated and Quick Cut. It expanded its board and it's up some as well. If you look at Snap, Snap's up to almost $8 a share. Here's AMD. AMD's actually technically red on the day still. Meta is planning 70 to 72 billion in capex for AI infrastructure. So they're kind of pivoting from the metaverse, which is what they were into like years ago, and now they're obviously getting into AI, which is probably the right move. I don't know how much future the metaverse holds right now. Short term, I don't know if I like the metaverse play. Long term, maybe, but short term, we'll see. Microsoft, Wedbush analysts view Microsoft as undervalued. AI-driven as their growth and potential for 2026. Oracle shares are still doing pretty good here. We're in Oracle. Where's Oracle at right now? Oracle's basically where it was yesterday when I looked at it. Yeah, Oracle's basically where it was yesterday. Hey, what's up, Sam, Guy, Todd, Noodle, Crypto, Amber? Yeah, I'm starting a little early today for sure, Amber. I'm home. I can set an alarm, but my natural alarm clock is going to wake me up at 5:30 no matter what. 5:30 in the morning, no matter what. I've tried. I didn't even wake up to my alarm today. I just woke up at 5:30. So that's how it goes. Again, Palantir's got a lot of people checking it out. Like, look at Palantir here. Palantir at 193s. So Palantir's interesting. United Health is down big. Medical cost pressures, regulatory concerns. Analysts estimate 16.3% to 60.9% undervaluation for UNH. So I'm wondering if UNH is going to have another dip buy opportunity. The last time I bought this thing, though, it was at like, what, 2 something. Yeah, the last time I bought it, it was at like 2 something. It's at 3 something now. It's less dip. The dip buy looks less good, in my opinion. But maybe. Tesla also been rising a lot. Up to 490s. The big question people are asking is, when is it going to break 500? It kind of tried to break 500 yesterday. So it kind of tried to break 500. Here's 500 here. So it tried. Didn't quite get there. Didn't quite get there. Got to 490 something. And didn't really hold. 498 80s. And I'm also just curious what the volume is going to be like today. I know I'm probably streaming early, but what's up, Steve? Yeah, gold. Again, all-time highs for gold. That's the big story of the day is gold. Yeah, we got Q3 GDP expected around 3.2 to 3.3% annualized. We got durable goods, building permits, PCE prices, industrial production and capacity utilization rates later on. CB consumer confidence. So we got a whole gang of reports coming out today. And then we get jobless claims tomorrow. Is the market open tomorrow, though? I think it is. I think it's a half day, right? They're closed at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Reopen at normal time Friday after the holiday. Yeah, and I think we get some stuff coming out today, but... Hey, thank you, Crypto. Can we get a Santa rally? I don't know how much $2... What is that, Indian rupees? I have no idea how much 200,000 Indian rupees are, but let's calculate it. $12. Hey, thank you, brother. That's a lot. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Oracle gonna bounce, I hope. No Santa rally this year. Historically, guys, the Santa rally happens the day after Christmas, December 26th up to January 2nd is the time frame of a historical Santa rally. And so again, that is from December 26th, the day after the holiday, up until January 2nd is the historical time frame for a Santa rally. And so just because we're not rallying yet does not mean we're not going to get one. A lot of the time it's after the holiday, not before it, and it leads into the next year. No, that's what I said. It's a lot. $12. I like it. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Again, Bitcoin back under 90, man. Bitcoin's just consolidating. Look at these drops yesterday. So, Bitcoin just falling here. We're going to cover breaking news, of course, as it happens. Visa holiday spending is up 4.2% according to Visa. U.S. holiday spending up 4.2%. According to Visa. Let's see what else we get today. All right, guys. Santa rally comes from people returning their auto-winning gifts for cash. Nah, I don't know if I've ever returned a Christmas gift. I'm not a big returns guy. Maybe that shows my spending. I don't know. It depends on how much it is. But I'm not a big returns guy. I'll keep it and pretend I use it even if I don't. So I'm pretty disappointed I didn't win the 1.6 billion yesterday, guys. Pretty disappointed. Oh, it's an Indonesia rupiah. Got you. My bad. My apologies. Again, I don't know. I've never, I've never had those type of currencies. Jason, sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I don't know that. I really am. I'm sorry. It's my fault for sure. I should have known. I should have studied that this morning. I'm literally never going to stand in line to return anything ever. I get it. I get it. I'm never doing that either. UBS reiterates a sell rating on Tesla. So UBS analyst Joseph Spock, what a name, reaffirmed a sell rating on Tesla with the $247 price target and lowered his Q4 delivery forecast to 415,000 units. Oh yeah, we should get Tesla delivery numbers early January, like January 2nd is when we should get Tesla deliveries. He lowered his Q4 25 delivery forecast to only 415,000 units from 429K. The estimate is 5% below the visible alpha consensus of 435, but aligns with the buy-side expectation of 405 to 415. They note that Tesla stock typically reacts to headline delivery beats or misses, even if results beat investor expectations. Tesla expected to report, Q4 deliveries on January 2nd. Okay, so yeah, it is January 2nd. It's at the end of every quarter. So, fourth quarter ends in December, so it's going to be a couple days after the fourth quarter ends. So this is fourth quarter delivery numbers for Tesla. They're going to drop again January 2nd. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a obvious, like, look, this little, I'm assuming you're talking about this, Sam. You might be talking about a longer term move, but this is pretty simple, I think. Terrible trend line there, but that's basically the trend you're talking about. I think I was looking at it. It's a little too early for me, and we do have some data. Again, we do have the jobs data coming out today, so we do have the jobs data. I'm just glad to be home. Like, I like traveling and all. Traveling's cool, but I'm just ready to be home, man. Like, I love Louisiana, but I'm ready to be home. I ate some good Cajun food, Probably not a bad idea to buy the NASDAQ. I don't know. When it sweeps the previous day's low, maybe. But that's assuming we're going to have a choppy trend. If it continues down, it might just break and drop in. What I've learned with my system is that there's some days where I trade choppiness, range bound trading, and then there's some days where I trade momentum. Either way, usually I'm attacking the trend. Some days I'm attacking the top of the trend and a longer term trend, but yeah. Again, I'm curious to see the effect this labor report has. We get the ADP prelim weekly estimate data today at 8:15. You can see that's what the timer's counting down for at 49 minutes. Again, it's weekly average job numbers. We get that at 8:15 market time. Lake Charles, Christmas Day. Yeah, we drive through there. I want to go to that casino out there and play some poker, but I just don't have the time, man. Yeah, did Oracle end red or green yesterday? I see gold. Like, the big story today, guys, gold. All-time highs, 4,500 plus. The question is, does gold break $5,000 within the next 2 months? What do you guys think? Here, let's do a poll here. Gold futures break 5K an ounce within the next month. Yes or no? Does gold futures? Would it be do gold futures? I think it would be do gold futures break $5,000 an ounce. Plural. So yeah, vote on the poll. Yes. I mean, I think they're pretty close. They're $500 away or less right now, and so I think it's plausible. I also think, again, I've said this once, I'll say it again, I think gold has been in a good news is good news, bad news is good news scenario for it. So what we might consider bad news might be good news for gold. What we might consider good news might be good news for gold. The question is, does it hold long term? Like, does it pull back big? Gold makes big moves up and then long term moves down sometimes. And so the question is, does it hold long term? And I don't know. But I do know momentum's in its favor right now. Yeah, you're talking about the NVO news. I did see something about that. Let me see if I can find it. Copper hits new all-time highs as well. China's finance ministry expects aggregate government bond issuance to remain elevated next year, according to Reuters. Again, copper prices passed $12,000 a ton, hitting a new record. They passed $12K a ton, hitting record amid heavy stockpiling in U.S. over tariff worries. Dollar index just fell to its lowest level in 11 weeks. Jim Cramer says Anthropic, Gemini, and OpenAI are the three winners. The others will have to pay Apple for the right to play. Jim Cramer. Yeah, so the NVO news that you're talking about is they say FDA approves one of their drugs for weight loss management. And so that's good. So yeah, they got FDA approval for NVO. NVO's been pretty cheap as well, I think, relative to where it's been. Like, it had a big pullback. It was at 60s and more, pulled all the way back to 40s. It's back up to 50s, though, now, so I don't know how favorable it is. What do you think of Zim? Yeah, I don't know much about ZIM as a company. It is a big gap up, though. What's the news here for Zim? I'm looking at... I see companies covering the big move, but I don't see why it's up. Let me see if I can figure it out. How's the Paramount Skydance stuff going on? Yeah, so the company said it received proposals from multiple parties to acquire all outstanding shares and is currently evaluating the offers. So potential buyout for ZIM. Not really my style, a little bit too cheap, but it is up on a big trajectory since September. And so this move is decent for it. It's back up to 20s holding gain. So I don't know much about it. It looks... We'll have to wait and see. But it's up a lot today. I'm definitely watching it. I appreciate the donation. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure silver is going to be flying up as well here. Silver up to $70. Silver, it was at 50 not that long ago. Like, social media shows me these kind of like pawnbroker videos where people bring in different things and the pawnbroker tells them how much they're worth. It's kind of like a mini version of Pawn Stars. And people bring in silver, and when they film the videos, it was like $50 $50. Now it's at almost 70. So movement here. BlackRock and MSC are considering walking away from a deal to buy the ports from CK Hutchinson if Costco were to insist on getting a majority stake, according to Financial Times. So again, BlackRock and MSC is considering walking away from a deal to buy the ports from CK Hutchinson if Costco were to insist on getting a majority stake, according to them. Again, UBS reiterated a sell rating on Tesla. They're basically skeptical about their Q4 delivery numbers set to come out in early January. Yeah, we got prelim GDP today. It's expected at about 3.2% GDP, 3.2%. And so that drops at 8:30. We got prelim job numbers, weekly employment numbers coming out at 8:15, 15 minutes before GDP. We got weekly job numbers at 8:15. ADP's job report, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time today. And then I think tomorrow we got jobless claims unemployment, although I might start the stream a little bit tomorrow, a little bit later tomorrow. Just because of schedule, you know, but we'll cover it. But yeah, jobless claims tomorrow release. Markets are still going to be closed in a lot of places. Brazil, Italy, Switzerland, and Germany are going to be closed completely tomorrow. UK is going to close at 12:30. New Zealand's going to early close at 12:45. US closes early at 1. And so a lot of markets are going to be closing early. I expect it to be choppy tomorrow. But today we got a full day and we got stuff to talk about. We got numbers coming out today. Again, I checked the Bureau of Economic Analysis's website here. And, you know, the only thing I see here, like, let me check this. The only thing I see here is if I go to like their PCE report by the Bureau of Economic Analysis. If I go to this, it does say the next report releases December 23rd. Update of July, August, and September data on December 23rd. We'll see what this looks like. We're going to watch it. We'll see what this looks like. Again, quarter 3 GDP also releases live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's expected at 3.2%, 3.3%. I'm curious to see what this does to gold. I'm curious to see what this does to everything else. Stocks, indexes, futures. We'll have to wait and see. And again, we do have job numbers coming out 15 minutes before this release. 15 minutes before we get job numbers coming out. Silver processing places have started not buying silver, trying to catch up with the huge influx selling. Some shops are starting to give $8 back from spot. Sellers have also quit buying. Everyone bringing in not only coins but silver plateware, and silverware is being melted down into bars to deliver when contracts expire. So, are you thinking Pawn was a previous pawnbroker? That's why we call him Pawn. Do you think that silver prices are going to correct to the downside because of a over accumulation of buyers, or over accumulation of sellers? Again, I don't know. It's not really my market. I like watching it, but a lot of people are rushing to sell silver laying around their house. Nasdaq looks bullish. Nasdaq's technically red on the day though, so the Nasdaq is red. You know, it's slightly red. It's not a crazy amount. Like if you look at the QQQ, which is the Nasdaq, you know, here's the previous closing price here, and we are right here. So, I mean, it could be worse today. It's not like it's crazy red or anything. Refineries have to purchase silver that they refined. Hesitant to purchase more. I think they will continue to go up until the refinery can catch up and get rid of all the silver that's coming in the crash. Interesting. Yeah, my average price in Oracle is 182. 182 is my average price in Oracle. It's at almost 200 now. So percentage-wise, we're up really nicely on that one. I think I'm up on the Meta one too. Yeah, I'm green on Meta as well. Average price 603s for Meta. What's up, Jay? Good morning. Are you interested in buying silver at these prices, guys? Again, look at silver. Basically $70, depending on which one you look at. Basically $70. Gold up here, silver, crazy. What's your favorite stock that you're interested in buying right now? Silver is essential in chips, solar panels, basically all modern electronics. Yeah, but I think sometimes because silver is used much more than gold in electronics, there's an incentive to keep the price low by billionaires, you know, because there's an incentive. Margins are better when silver prices are for that type of stuff. Now, it's not, you could also look at it on the other way, and I think both arguments are valid, where you could say, hey, silver is needed. It's a necessary thing, essential thing for tech production. So because of that, you know, we need to invest in it. I think that makes sense as well. Again, so China upside potential for NVIDIA and AMD. Renewed speculation around U.S. approval of GPU sales to China has highlighted upside for NVIDIA and AMD. Raymond James estimates AMD could add 500 to 800 million in revenue, or 10 to 20 cents in non-GAAP EPS, mainly from China-compliant accelerators. NVIDIA's opportunity is larger, 7 to 12.5 billion in potential revenue and 0.15 to 30 cents. 15 to 30 cents in 2026 EPS potential upside. There's still a lot of uncertainty though here, guys, around approval timing, Chinese demand, and U.S. export fees. So Also, Wolf Research is saying that the S&P could reach 7,250 to 7,300 early next year if it breaks above key resistance. Their strategist Rob Ginsburg notes that volatility has dropped sharply, resetting market conditions. A breakout could push index past its October highs as recent consolidation supports higher targets. Stable 10-year treasury yields also support the bullish view, though housing remains weak. Wolf also highlights strength in commodities and sees rebounds. This is not a silver bubble, it's a precious metal bull market that will last a long time. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, they're up a lot. I get it. People are hedging. Again, Dixie is under pressure in the U.S. data. Again, BlackRock and MSC are considering walking from a deal from CK Hutchinson if Costco were to insist on getting a majority stake, according to Financial Times. Japan's antitrust watchdog is going to launch an investigation into search services of major domestic and foreign IT companies that use generative AI, officials said Tuesday. Oh, I'm happy to be back home with my computer. Get a softer dollar making gold pop. Geopolitical tariff worries about Venezuela, US EU frictions. Keep safe haven assets flow strong. Most of the macro narrative is soft landing with cuts, inflation cooled into the high twos. Even if some of that data wasn't the most accurate. Again, today we get Q3 GDP, durable goods, building permits, and more. Most of it's at 8:30, but again, we do have jobs data coming out at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see what that jobs data shows first. And then we got Q3 GDP at 8:30. Silver is more of industrial. Coming to monetary. Snowing? I don't know what it is in Texas right now. But I don't think it's cold. Yeah, it's 70 degrees right now. It's supposed to be warm all the way through the holiday, dude. Boo, man. Come on. We're gonna have a hot Christmas here in Texas. It's not supposed to get cold until the week after, which is terrible. I'd rather it be colder than warm up the week after, but you know how it goes here. $100 silver before too long reminds me of the first time gold went from 8 to 100, or 800 to 1,000. Again, looking at our poll, 70% of people think gold futures break 5,000 in the next 2 months. 70%, 30% say no. And I think that's a reasonable expectation. Again, I'm not an investment professional, of course. We're not liable if you lose money. You got to make your own assessment, trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. But I think that makes sense. OpenAI doesn't close its $30 billion funding led by SoftBank. Next 7 days, they'll have virtually no cash left to run. Not trying to be political, but then we have better markets. I don't know. Charlotte will be 75 now Christmas Day. Yeah, Houston's expecting it to be 77. Unfortunately. All right, let's watch. I'm looking at the 680 level. Maybe we'll day trade this. And I'm watching recent news here. New Zealand dollar up. Pretty boring. Yeah, we do have a data dump today, which is good. Still got 30 plus minutes, but. Yeah, we got some data coming out. Yeah, we don't ever get snow here. And if it snows where I live, stuff hits the fan. Like the infrastructure's down, unfortunately. And so we don't really want snow. I mean, I want snow still, but after the holidays. All right, look, we're watching the 680 level again. Look at silver, guys. Silver broke over $70 for a little while today. Got up to 70.15s for silver futures. Gold all-time highs as well. New all-time high on gold is 45.30 here. Look at this. Look at this trend. Gold on this top chart. It is just pushing. For the kids, bro. Yeah, I guess. Again, it really does get stressful when it snows here. You know, like we got a generator, and so we're okay, but most people do not know how to drive. I lived in Canada for a while, so I kind of understand how to drive in the snow, even though I don't have the tires for it. But a lot of people here do not understand how you need to drive in the snow. They do not understand when you need to start slowing down. And it's chaos. People just start sliding in to other cars, and it's just a mess when it snows. I usually just stay inside. Yeah, it shut everything down for like a week, Pawn. Yeah, so the Russian central bank says Bitcoin mining is supporting the ruble. Russia is estimated to control 16% of the global Bitcoin hash rate. We also had an Arizona senator proposing exempting Bitcoin and crypto from taxes. Again, if you guys have any stocks you want me to look at, I can look at them ahead of this data release. But do get some stuff. I bet you do, high flyer. Nike? Yeah, I mean, I don't really dislike Nike that much. It might be time to buy Nike. I don't think Nike's going out of business. I don't think people are going to stop wearing Nike. Anytime I look at a young person's shoes, it's almost always Nike, regardless of the stock price. And so, you know what? Maybe we'll buy a little bit of Nike. Maybe it's time. It's down a lot. I think it's probably... Oh, we're already in Nike, apparently. We already bought some. I might buy a little bit more here. You know what? We're going to go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, we just bought some more of Nike. Apparently we bought it after this dip already. I don't know when we bought it, but we bought Nike. We're in a little bit more now. Again, and then tomorrow we get jobless claims, unemployment. You can connect to a TV, brother. I don't know what you're gonna connect to a TV, dude. Genuinely no idea what you're gonna connect to a TV. Yeah, silver flying high, man. I don't, you know, it's up to $70. Yeah, so silver's up to $70. Yeah, so $70 an ounce for silver, which is crazy, crazy move. Tariffs are hurting Nike. No, I understand why it's down. I'm just saying, like, look, at these prices, these big percentage drops, I think maybe a lot of that is baked in, and we might have some potential upside. This is what I did with Oracle. This is what I did with Meta, right? I might be wrong, but in the long term, the risk is low. Nike's not gonna, you know, they're gonna be fine. And yeah, I'm gonna just try to buy the dip. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an investment professional here, guys. I'm not liable if you lose money. Make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. But yeah. We got some data today, which is good. I live in West Boston. People drive. I don't know how to drive in the snow. Hey, bring flying taxis out here. I'm supportive of that. I'm trying to create a Fifth Element scenario here. And I think AI is going to get us there too. I don't know when, but I think AI is going to get us there. All right, guys. So I should have shorted the 680, dude. This is the level we were talking about shorting. Look at 680 right here. That's the level we were talking about shorting. I don't know why we didn't, but that's the level. Hopefully the Supreme Court overturns. Today we have GDP quarter 3 initial estimate data. Wait, is it quarter 3? If it's quarter 3, we're late. But I think we already knew we were late. Yeah, so we're getting quarter 3 GDP data today, initial estimate data, which is the way they report GDP is the first one's the initial estimate. It's the least accurate, but it's the potentially most influential first estimate of it. And so we got the initial estimate of quarter 3 GDP today. We have durable good orders. We also have an update to PCE inflation data today. And so, yeah, we got quarter 3 GDP. GDP expected for quarter 3 around 3.2 to 3.3%. Again, 3.2 to 3.3%. Durable good orders, again, they release at 8:30 as well. For the month of October, they're expected at a negative 1.5% for durable goods. Again, a negative 1.5%. We also have the prelim weekly estimate from ADP. ADP every week posts a weekly jobs estimate. And so we do have that data today, and that data might drive odds a little bit at least based off of ADP's numbers here. So we'll see what that looks like as well. But again, we got ADP data, we got GDP data, we have durable goods, consumer confidence later. So we got some stuff to talk about and cover. Which report? GDP? Back to the Future. I remember the Universal Studios Back to the Future ride. Loved it as a kid. In hindsight, it was kind of weak, but hey, I think that's life. I like Jaws too. Yeah, I mean, the question is, does silver and gold start pulling back here? Gold, again, right around $4,500 an ounce. Yeah, Warner Bros. Still sitting almost at 30. Paramount sitting at 1360s. Netflix, I think I'm still in Netflix. I am in Netflix, very small. I think I've cut a lot of the position. Again, though, they think China has potential upside for NVIDIA and AMD. Renewed speculation around the approval of GPU sales to China. Potential upside, according to Raymond James. They think it could add for AMD 5 to 800 million in revenue, or 10 to 20 cents in non-GAAP EPS from China compliant accelerators. NVIDIA, on the other hand, they think potential gains from China might be larger, with 7 to 12.5 billion in potential revenue and 15 to 30 cent EPS upside next year in 2026. They still say there's uncertainty around approval timing, though. Demand there, considering some of the export restrictions and export fees as well. But for all the AI hype, I'm going to guess that AI is just going to become a customer chat bot. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, look, from somebody like me who does a lot of research in finance, I use AI a lot, you know? And I think the way people interact with it, I think people use it a lot. Now, does it turn out to fulfill the huge potential that people have for it? Well, I guess it depends. I think AI is obviously going to be big. I think the growth and how much better it gets is going to be crazy big, you know? I think like how much better it gets is going to be good, but it might take more time than expected. It might take a little bit more time to get over some of the hurdles and worries people have for it, but I think it's still going to be huge. I don't know if the future success of NVIDIA necessarily depends on them I think Nvidia is doing okay without them right now, but you know, companies, you got to understand, in the growth phase, they're always looking for growth, and so obviously companies are going to look at that, and you know, look at China as a potential growth market, considering how large it is. But I think Nvidia is probably going to be okay regardless. You know, people have concerns regarding AI about monetization, but I think monetization is I think AI is going to be easy to monetize, to be honest. Market going to crash and be bad? Not for years. What? I mean, I think the CGI, I think the video creation tools from AI are good. I think if it's hard for you to tell the difference now, if it's hard for you to tell the difference, then it's pretty good. You know? Like, you gotta understand, 15, 20 years ago, for people to make computer-generated graphics, was incredibly expensive and time-consuming. You know, for them to make some of the old movies, like the first Avatar, super expensive. Super expensive. You gotta understand, at this point in time, AI can do some of that stuff much, much faster. Much, much faster. Unfortunately, it's probably gonna mean we're gonna have more graphics in movies, which I don't think we need. I tend to like the old movies where they had to do it organically. But I think if it's hard to distinguish between the two, it's pretty good. AI makes me lose money? In what way? I like UiPath. Yeah, I mean, they're down so much though since 2021, 2022. They were at $90 then, they're at $16 now. Maybe they're cheap, but I don't like. One of the things I try not to do is buy long-term pullbacks. Because I guess, and again, this is just me. I'm going to preface it with I am not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. But like what I notice is that like I'll buy something that has like a trend like this, right? But if because then I'm just buying an upward trend on a dip like this. But if something has a trend like this, I am much less likely to buy that thing. You know why? And especially if this is years right here, if this trend is years right here, I am much less likely to buy it because that's more indicative of like a long-term downward correction versus like a bullish trend pullback. So I'll buy something that's downtrending for 3-6 months. I don't want to buy something that's downtrending for 4 years. That is more indicative of a company that is struggling versus just a small pullback. Yeah, I love the first Jurassic Park as well. I like all of them. My daughter and I love Jurassic Park movies. Yeah, they did that injection yesterday at 9 a.m. It was relatively small, but I saw the market start to drop at the opening bell yesterday, though, right? The NASDAQ, S&P, here's the SPY here. I noticed it started to fall yesterday at the opening bell, but it looks like we got bought right back up. Sideways chop. Just be careful today. It is the day before Christmas Eve, so y'all just be careful. Gold is just flying up, all-time highs. Silver as well. Silver's at around $70 an ounce right now. $70 an ounce for silver. You know, price of oil per barrel only $58 a barrel right now. Silver, an ounce of silver is worth more than a barrel of oil right now. Which Jurassic Park is your favorite? I can never decide between 1 and 3. 1, obviously. 3 was alright. Which one was 3? Where the kid was stuck on the island and they had to come save him? That one's alright. I wouldn't put it in the top, you know, Jurassic Park spot though. Alright guys, so I like the first Jurassic World. NASDAQ's coming back higher. We're gonna watch 690s. Yeah, Bitcoin's just been consolidating. Short term, I don't know where Bitcoin's going. I'm a bull long term in Bitcoin, but short term, I really don't know where it's going. Uh, Bitcoin has really been sideways for a month now. Here's the range of Bitcoin since in November. Basically been on a sideways trend. We've been down, up, down, up, down, up. We're just kind of sideways for Bitcoin right now. I wanted to go higher. I think maybe 100K up there, right around 100K is a level to watch, just because I think so many people use $100,000 as a big milestone whole dollar level. And I'm curious to see when it breaks back over 100K. But on the low side, I think 80,000's the level right now, especially over the last few months. You can kind of see 80,000 on Bitcoin here, right around here. So 80,000 seems to be that level on the downside. We'll see. Gold will keep pumping because of the Dixie falling. Yeah, no, for sure, Universal. Find it amazing when an awesome tech like AI is used for deepfakes and YouTube videos. Yeah, but you gotta understand, people use it for content creation now because that's where the money is, you know? Are we gonna have a Santa Claus rally? Generally speaking, a Santa Claus rally is historically between December 26th and January 2nd. We'll see what happens after the holidays. We might have slow, choppy action today. And if I'm going to bet on anything today, it's probably going to be choppiness. It depends on how much some of these economic reports influence things. But if I had to bet on anything today, it's going to be choppy. I don't know what financial advice is, bro. All I know is nothing here is financial advice, friends. U.S. government will deal with their massive debt the same way that every government has passed by inflating their way out of it. 100%. Yeah, inflation does get rid of debt as long as you don't keep adding to it. Again, inflation, guys. How much is the debt right now? 38 trillion. $38 trillion in debt. Wait. Okay, that's right. 38 trillion in debt. Let's say you got an average inflation rate of 2.5%. They want 2%, right? But let's say you got to have average inflation rate of 2.5%. Over 20 years, it's going to cut that in half almost in 20 years with an average inflation rate of 2.5%. Now, let's say we got an average inflation rate here of 5%. Wait, is that right? Okay, that's $1 billion. Trillion. All right. You get an average inflation rate of 5%. Man, you're taking that debt away. Much less significant. And so I think that's what we're talking about in terms of inflation can bring down debt as long as you don't keep adding to it, which they will. But yeah. You have a 50% chance to win today. So the timer, guys, is for the ADP weekly employment numbers. ADP weekly employment numbers drop soon. So the timer is for ADP data coming out today. Again, at 8:15, we got ADP weekly employment numbers. We'll see what they look like. So we got ADP weekly jobs numbers coming out at 8:15. Yeah, dude, honestly, every single day for the last week, people have been saying PCE inflation goes live today. And every time I check the BEA, the Bureau of Economic Analysis government website, I didn't see any of it. I don't know where they're getting this stuff. I guess it's from old economic calendars. But I should have just titled my stream PCE data anyway for yesterday or the day before. But you know what, guys? I'm honest. I'm gonna call myself Honest John from now on. That's just what I do here. Huh? Yeah, rest in peace to the Call of Duty co-creator, Vince. Sad. Very sad. Yeah, we got ADP weekly employment numbers, 8:15 market time. Numbers are always kind of late. They're hard to figure out. Yeah, we got ADP weekly employment numbers going live, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. And we got Q3 GDP out today. And I think, again, when I look at the Bureau of Economic Analysis website here, it says on the 23rd, we get an update of July, August, and September data. July, August, and September data. So, you will see. Yeah, we get an update of July, August, and September PCE data today. But we do not get... people keep saying October PCE is coming out. I don't think it is. Again, PCE data today. Core PCE expected at 2.9%. Previous was 2.6. We'll see what PCE data looks like. We got GDP data today. Again, it's expected at... I'm showing GDP data is expected at... Oh, no, wait. I'm showing it's expected at 3.2%. But some of the expectations, depending on the source, there's variance. Yeah, PCE data coming out today. We'll see what it looks like, guys. Yeah, we're breaking down at 25,670. We'll see. Again, I kind of wanted to short this 200 exponential. I just didn't. Again, remember the ADP data drops live. We got the ADP jobs report at 8:15. Again, I don't know what the ADP jobs report go by copper. Copper's been flying higher as well here. Yeah, copper future symbol is what? HG? I love your show, but your numbers are low. Find me somebody else cover a GDP today that has more numbers than I do right now. Curious. I mean, honestly, for being just me here, like some of the other big networks that have 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 employees working for them, and again, props to them, they're great. But for being just me, we do pretty good here, to be honest. It is the holiday. It's the day before Christmas Eve, so we got to have reasonable expectations for today. Oh, price of copper has been flying up right now, flying up. Again, look at copper right now. It just spiked up. It's at 557s. 557s. Usually they're just mad, man, whoever it is. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're genuinely supportive. It's hard to tell. Some people just get weird. That's life. Again, we got the ADP numbers though in 7 minutes. Question is, do I want to short 680 here again? I kind of do, but I think we're too close to these job numbers. And again, ADP a lot of the time is late. So ADP a lot of the time is late on this stuff. Because it's me and Pawn. Yeah, it's Pawn and I running this thing. So every YouTuber saying Santa Rally starts Wednesday, a new all-time highs is coming. Maybe. Again, Santa Rallies generally start potentially Friday. But again, we'll see, chat. We'll see. Yeah, so much for the infamous Santa Rally. I don't know, brother. We'll see. Again, we got ADP labor data showing up in about 6 minutes. We'll see what that looks like. ADP jobs data. Again, a lot of the time, ADP is more accurate than the actual official government data. Why? Because they're a payroll processor. They have more accurate data, especially in the context of the shutdown recently. And so we'll see what ADP's numbers show. If we look at ADP's previous numbers here. Like if we look at ADP's previous numbers. Let me find the last ADP data here. I forget what is it called, the weekly prelim employment change. So here's the ADP site. Here's the schedule. Again, 12/23 weekly estimate. The question is, are they going to do that? It's on mainstream macro. What were the numbers last time? Here's December 16th, the last report. They were, I know they posted it lower, 16.25 thousand jobs. So 16,250 jobs last time. So honestly, the ADP numbers were a little bit stronger last time. This is probably at least one of the reasons why the odds for a rate cut next month are down under 20% right now. If you look at the odds for a rate cut, maybe we get an early Santa Rally. Listen, it's possible. It's not like it's too rigid. It's not like it has to be only the 26th through the 2nd. It could definitely be early, and I'm for it. Let it run early. Give me an early present. I'm for it. Do you guys want a Santa Rally? Yes or no? Put yes or no in chat right now. 5 minutes until ADP data comes out. Hey dude, what's the knee update? Are you back to training again? Knee is good. Knee is good. Yesterday wasn't enough for you. That was early Christmas. Yesterday's gains were good, not great. I want, you know, I'm like Michael Scott. I want to see some razzle dazzle here in markets. I want them to push up more. Let's see it. Yes, you want to Santa Rally? Yes. Yes. Santa wears red. I need to get myself a hat. I got one somewhere. You know? Santa Rally, again, generally is after Christmas, but we'll see. Again, hit the live button next to the play button, put it in 2x speed. I want price movement. Always like a little boost for Christmas. Yeah, I mean, I'm for it. Let it happen. All right, guys, you ready? Again, 8:15, we got the ADP weekly employment on Tuesday. Today, we get quarter 3 GDP, durable goods, consumer confidence. Tomorrow, we get jobless claims, and then we're closed for the holiday. Will this report be good by ADP, guys? Will we get a good report here? Again, 2.5 minutes. Tax harvesting, maybe we'll get some tax harvesting. I don't know. I really don't know. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes left until the ADP data. 2 minutes left. Again, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. We got the prelim weekly employment report by ADP. It comes out very soon. I should have shorted 680s. I even mentioned it on stream that I might have wanted to short 680s. Look at copper, though. Copper's still rising. Silver still up huge on the day. Over $70. Look at this run on silver. Look at silver right now. As that coming down here, let me look at news. Again, silver over $70 an ounce. Home prices are up 0.2% in November, the slowest annual growth since 2012. All right, here we go, guys. We got about a minute left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up. Again, we got the ADP weekly employment report coming out in about a minute here. This timer is a little bit early. A little bit early for this timer. I'm just going to pause it and then update it once we get this data coming out. But again, ADP weekly employment report. Last time we gained 16,250 jobs. 16,250 jobs last time. I think that was it, right? 45 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up. And let's see what we get. All right, guys, here we go. Here's the report in 15 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. All right, here we go. Here's the report. We'll see what it shows. And let's watch to see if this moves the market at all. Here. I don't see it yet. Watching for it. Waiting for the ADP data. I don't see anything yet. They scheduled it for today, so it should be coming out today. Nothing yet. Again, if you guys see it, let me know, but I don't see it. Last time we showed up at 16.25 thousand. Again, sometimes ADP's late. Maybe they might even be later here. Again, maybe GDP's taking up too much of their attention. Again, I don't see it on ADP. Last one showed a loss of 32,000. And the last jobs report showed a gain of 16,250. I don't really see any movement here. Maybe ADP is just late on their report. Generally, they show this. So, like, generally, they'll have it already. But again, sometimes they're just late. You look at the last job report. Again, the last one showed loss of 32,000, but I don't see anything yet. Okay, so 11,500 a week in 4 weeks. 11,500 a week. It is out. 11,500. So again, 11,500 for the ADP report. 11,500. So it is out. 11,500 jobs average per week in the week ending December 5th is what this was. Again, so 11,500 jobs. It is out. Again, 11.5K versus 16,250. Now we pivot to the GDP data. 11,500. Didn't really move markets here. Silver's still flying higher. Again, I'll put this data up on screen. They get 11,000 versus previous of 16.25. Again, now remember, quarter 3 GDP drops in 12 minutes here. 12 minutes for quarter 3 GDP. We also have PCE inflation. Curious to see how PCE reacts to this, though. China's Commerce Minister says we will take necessary measures to protect Chinese companies if the U.S. persists. All right, guys. So you got the ADP report come out. It did show. I mean, I would say this is a neutral report. It's a little bit lower than last time, but it's still positive. Again, I'll put this data up on screen. But again, we have quarter 3 GDP dropping in 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Yeah, but which PCE report do you think is coming out today, Prey? So again, PCE, the only thing on the website I see for PCE inflation is I see that we get an update on July, August, and September PCE data. I don't think we're getting October data. I don't see it scheduled anywhere. I don't see the Bureau of Economic Analysis even like, look, I don't think the Bureau of Economic Analysis even scheduled PCE. The only way you can see some PCE data is coming out today is if you go to that specific PCE inflation site. And at the very bottom of it, it says today, the next release is an update of July, August, and September data, right? But it's not like we're getting October data today for PCE inflation. And so, you know, yeah, we'll get an update July, August, September data. GDP is going to be the main one, though, I think. Bro, they've said PCE was coming out every single day for the last 3 days straight. And I've told you guys it probably wasn't. And again, if you think it's coming out today, where's the schedule on the Bureau of Economic Analysis website? Show me. Feed me the schedule. You know, let me see the actual URL for it, and I might believe you. Again, most of the people that have said it's coming out over the last 3 or 4 days have just looked at old economic calendars that never took in the new schedule, and they didn't check the government website. And so maybe it comes out today for October. I don't think it is. I think we're going to get an update of July, August, and September data, which we're going to cover. But I don't think we're going to get an October PCE inflation report today. Again, Treasury Secretary Bassett on the November CPI says he thinks it's a pretty accurate number. Iran will probably be back to CEA in February or March. I think we're going to get some PCE inflation, but I don't think it's going to be the big one everybody expects us to get today for some reason. Yeah, I think we're getting something. Get Bassett speaking right now. Let's see what he says. But 8 minutes, chat. Again, Bassett said, I actually think it was a pretty accurate number. Every Wall Street predictor in Bloomberg was wrong. So what do you do when you're wrong? You blame the measurement. You blame the data. Honestly, I'm not even saying I'm agreeing with Bassett because it's political. I'm not going to get into that. But I do agree nobody cries manipulation more than somebody that's wrong about a prediction. Cough, cough, Michael Murray. In cough. No. All right, guys. Again, we got GDP data, Q3 GDP data coming out today. We'll see what that looks like. I'm on the Bureau of Economic Analysis website. So if we do get a PCE report, we're going to have it here. But again, the next release is an update of July, August, and September data on December 20th. What I'm showing here. But we will see. We're on the site. Again, I'm looking at PCE data today. We also have durable goods. So we got durable goods coming out. We have PCE inflation. At least an update to July, August, and September data. And we got Q3 GDP initial estimate data. It's expected at 3.3%. So 3.3% quarter-over-quarter GDP. It's Q3 initial estimate. The way they do it is they do the initial estimate for 1 month. They do the first revision for the second month, and then they do the final revision, final estimate for the third. But again, today it's expected at 3.3, 3.2%. We also have industrial production numbers coming out. You ever tried trading volatility related tickers or futures? Sometimes. Santa today. I like Rivian cars, but I think their big problem for an EV is they don't have autonomous driving. But I like Rivians. I asked ChatGPT about the reports today. What did it say? Economy is horrible. Nobody has money. People losing jobs. Hard to find jobs. National debt. Carry trade unwind. CPI is not 2.6. No, I agree. We'll see what the CPI data shows. All right, guys. PCE inflation data coming out 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put in 2x speed. Look at silver. Still breaking highs. It's up to 70.5. Right here, 70.5. Again, Novo sees weight loss market expanding as they go on sale. All right, guys. Silver, 70.6. PCE should be out soon. Which PCE are you talking about, Bo? I hear people say this, and then I'm like, hey, like, tell me the source. And then I just hear crickets. I hear nothing. So PCE might be coming out today. If it does, we're watching the tape. We're going to cover it. We're going to get, at the very least today, I think we're going to get an update to July, August, and September data today. I think. Not 100% sure. But I think. We'll see. At the very least, I know we're getting GDP data. I know we're getting GDP. So. All right, guys, here we go. We got 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. Again, GDP data going live. 3.5 minutes. Again, the weekly employment change numbers from ADP came out, and they came out at 11.5 thousand. 11.5K. Again, if PCE data was out, I'd see it. Stop making up stuff. Current release is from December 5th. Not out yet. 3 minutes here, chat. 3 minutes. Again, first we're watching quarter 3 GDP. Let's see what it shows. Okay, exit out of ADP's data. Goes up here. All right, guys. You think GDP is going to show up higher or lower than the 3.2% expected for quarter 3? Yeah, so we got a bunch of sources up here. We're waiting. Durable goods also expected to show up today. Again, durable goods expected at negative 1.5%, 1.5%. Quarter over quarter second estimate for PCE prices, 2.9%. But we're ready. Silver again up there. Gold 4,500s. Bitcoin 87,000. Minute chart up. We'll see how Bitcoin reacts to this. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half left. 3.2% as expected. 3.5%. Yeah, pawn shop saying they see a lot of upticks in sellers of silver. All right, guys, here we go. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream. Again, we got GDP data coming out. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We appreciate it. Should be dropping pretty soon. Again, GDP expected at 3.2 to 3.3%. Durable goods expected at negative 1.5% month over month. Previous was 0.5%. Again, hit the live button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up and be more real time to the stream. 4.2% for GDP. I don't know. We'll see. This is the initial estimate, so it does have variance for sure. 20 seconds, guys. 20 seconds. All right, guys. Here we go. 5 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button, put it into 2x speed, and the report drops right now. Okay, so durable goods, negative 2.2%. Durable goods, negative 2.2%. PCE prices showed up at 2.9% as expected. 4.3% GDP, 4.3% is what I just showed for GDP. 4.3% for quarter over quarter GDP versus 3.2 or 3.3% expected. Again, 4.3%. Kind of a wild number, dude. You were right, or close to right. Again, 4.3% is what I'm showing here. 4.3%. Again, 4.3%. Crazy number. We did get some PCE inflation data today, but it was just kind of an update. It showed up at 2.9% as expected. 2.9%. Last time was 2.6, showed up at 2.9. Quarter 3 PCE prices showed up at 2.8%. But again, GDP data, 4.3% versus 3.3% as expected. I do expect this to push yields higher. Here, I do expect this to push yields higher. I do expect this to push yields higher. But again, 4.3% is what I'm showing here. That's crazy. That's a crazy print. Durable goods, again, negative 2.2%. Negative 2.2%. Yeah, I'm sure yields are going to be spiking up on this report. Let's take a look at it. Again, 4.3%. Yeah, look, here's yields. And this is what you expect. Yields and interest rates follow each other. So strong GDP means we might not need to cut rates as much. That's what this is. Look at yields pop right here on the report. Look at yields pop. So yields are up. Gold pulling back a little bit. Again, durable goods negative 2.2%. GDP data showed 4.3% versus expected 3.2%. So basically a full percentage point or more higher than expected here at 4.3% for GDP. 4.3%. And again, we did have core PCE price estimates 2.9% as expected there. But man, the GDP number is the wild one. 4.3% versus expected 3.3. That's a big print. 4.3 versus 3.8 previously expected 3.3%. Again, core PCE prices annualized 2.9%. They expected 2.9%. I'm going to put these up in chat and we're going to read some of these reports. But again, GDP annualized 4.3% versus 3.8 previously and expected 3.3. Look at this. It's a wild print here. Again, quarter 3 PCE prices annualized 2.9 quarter over quarter. That's the data scrolling on the bottom of the screen here. Is bad? Well, it's bad if you want rate cuts. You know, it ain't good if you want rate cuts. If you want rate cuts, it's not the best. Again, GDP 4.3%, which is the strongest growth since quarter 4 of 2023. Strongest growth since quarter 4 of 2023. And again, we did get the estimate data here for PCE prices. But man, what a wild number here. Yeah, what a wild number. Yeah, look at GDP data here, guys. 4.3%. Nasdaq's bouncing back. Silver's still high. Yeah, so again, look. Again, 4.3%. Which is wild. Personal income up 0.4% for September. International traded goods 0.8. GDP initial estimate 4.3 and 4.3%. I don't know why it's not showing up. Again, 4.3% is a wild GDP print. Honestly, it didn't really affect the market that much. Yeah, we'll see. And if you want to give me a follow on x.com at Beginner Trades, we cover a lot of this stuff live. We cover GDP data. Again, so at this point in time, we got low inflation data for the last print. And we also got super strong GDP data, 4.3% for quarter 3 initial estimates. Now remember, listen, they drop these in 3 different releases. They do the initial estimate, which is the most variance ridden ones. Like there's the most variance. Essentially, it's the least accurate. It's the initial estimate. Over the next couple months, they refine the data, right? So this one's 4.3%. The next one we're going to get is the first revision. And then we're going to get the final revision the next month. And so this is just the initial estimate. It's the most variance ridden one. So again, I would take it with a grain of salt considering what it is. But it is very strong data. Look at this market plummet here. Whoa. Look at this drop. Look at this drop. Again, US PC prices advanced action was 2.8%. Core PC prices 2.9%. Philly Fed non-manufacturing index scaled up at negative 16.8. But man, look at this drop all of a sudden. Weird. Again, are yields still surging right now? Here's yields. Look at yields. Still spiking up. Yields and interest rates are going to follow each other. Bear with me here, though, guys. We can figure out what's going on. Where's your Santa now? Again, durable goods negative 2.2%. GDP data quarter over quarter 4.3%. I don't see any news driving this here either. Take a look. So let's take a look at stocks. Here's Nvidia. Down. Looks like microchip related. But specifically, it looks like Nvidia here. Look at Nvidia drop. Nvidia at 182.50s. Right now, 182.50s. Look at Bitcoin. Guys, Bitcoin also falling. So Bitcoin and microchips dipping down, driving the NASDAQ down with it. Interesting. Look at this. Still dropping here, still dropping. Yield's still up there. And yields are still higher, guys. If you guys see what's going on, let me know. I'm looking at rate cut odds. I'm sure the rate cut odds are going to decrease now on some of this news, but it's still at 17.7%, which is roughly where it was prior to all the data releases this morning. Again, roughly where it was. Again, Canadian GDP showed up at negative 0.3 versus negative 0.2 expected. Durable goods also was weaker than expected. Okay, so yeah, TikTok is partnering with ByteDance to compete with U.S. tech companies. I do see that. Maybe that's dragging markets down. I do see TT partnering with ByteDance to compete with U.S. tech. But that came out like an hour ago, though. I don't think that's what this is. This is something, though. Look at these drops. Look at NVIDIA. This is microchip related, guys. NVIDIA breaking down at 182.30s right now. How likely will the market end up green? I mean, even with this drop, I don't know. This is a significant drop. You're just worried about the market dropping? Dude, I'm just covering market action, bro. I don't really short stocks like that either. Like, I might short futures in the NASDAQ. Day trading. But it's not like I'm going to find companies and just short them. And it's dropping down pretty significantly as well. Again, I don't see any news here. I do see the Guangzhou Futures Exchange to adjust transaction fees, price limits, and margin requirements for the same for some platinum, palladium, and lithium carbonate futures from the 25th of December. I see that news coming out. Again, silver. Again, U.S. economy grew faster than expected in quarter three. GDP at 4.3%, driven by strong consumer spending. Growth exceeded forecasts, but has since slowed as higher living costs and a prolonged government shutdown weighed on activity. Much of the spending boost came from temporary surge in electric vehicle purchases before tax expired. Higher income households continue to drive consumption. Lower and middle incomes are still struggling. Economists warn these trends could weaken growth in coming quarters. Maybe that's why. But yeah. NASDAQ's still falling down. It looks like it's microchips. And again, I don't really see any breaking news that might drive this either. If you guys see anything, let me know. I don't see any news. Yeah, it could be the ByteDance news, but yeah, Oracle, NVIDIA, Tesla coming down. Yeah, I mean, it did make yields spike, which means less rate cuts potentially next year is what this means, right? It did make... And again, I'm seeing they might expect momentum to slow because of low and middle income slowdowns eventually trickling into everything else. Silver, though, again, guys, we look at NVIDIA. Here's gold. Silver's still flying here up to 70s, 60s. I will short this if we get some good momentum, too. Market de-risking. PCE came out, but it was the advanced estimate. I told you guys a couple of different times. I didn't think the actual PCE report's coming out today. I'm not sure who keeps saying it is, but... But yeah, we got the it was 2.9% as expected for PCE estimates. Again, I don't really... It looks like most people are reporting there's no reason for this so far. Bro not cutting rates in a million years with that strong GPT. I'm assuming you mean like Powell and the Fed is bro. Should long this. I don't know. If we get up to 650s, I might short this. Short futures. NASDAQ. Micro NASDAQ. Kind of a wild number. And remember, in 34 minutes, we get industrial production. And then at 10 a.m., we got CB consumer confidence as well. So we'll see what that looks like. I think we 100% cut rates in 2026. I think we're going to cut. The question is, do we get 1, 2, or 3 cuts next year? How many cuts do you guys think we'll get next year? 1, 2, or 3? You had some people predicting rate hikes as well. I don't know if we're necessarily going to see rate hikes unless inflation gets out of control. But maybe. Yeah. Again, new economy 4.3%, which is the fastest pace in 2 years. If we get up to 650, I might short this here too, guys. Again, I'm not an investment professional. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. No PDT and futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, Gold. Very similar to day trading stocks. Most day traders lose. Remember, I am not an investment professional. They recently lowered activation fees universally and more. I'll put the link up, pin it to the top of the chat. If you want to learn in a structured environment, it just makes sense. Here's the link. Check it out. They are a sponsor of mine. I get paid by them. I'm biased, but it's genuinely useful. All right, so look at, I asked people how many rate cuts are we going to get next year? 0? I see 0. Oh, wait, I accidentally pinned your comment. My bad, dude. I want to pin this one. Again, do I want to short this move here? 4 cuts? I don't think we're getting 4. Minimum of 5? I don't think we're getting 5 either. I think we might get 3. 0 cuts. 20. 2, 3, 2, 2, 4, 3. 1.5 of 2026. Yeah, I agree. I think maybe we might get 1 in the first half, and then maybe we'll get 2 in the second. Is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 650 here, though. Again, not an investment professional. Negative 3 cuts. Yeah, Bitcoin didn't react well to this either. Again, Bitcoin wants easing, so I think a super strong GDP means, you know, less easing for Bitcoin is probably why we get a negative reaction. Although it's not the biggest move. Here, wait, now's my time. All right, we're short. I might be shorting a little bit early here, but that's all right. I might add a little bit to this as it bounces. These are just micro contracts here. We're gonna add. I'm in way too early. But that's okay. Sometimes early is best, guys. There we go. I'm gonna cut half of that there. Another piece. I'm gonna scalping up a cushion here. We'll let this ride. Maybe add a little bit more to it. Hold it break even, maybe. Add a little dose of this here. See if it comes back down. Well, it depends on what you consider positive. If you want rate cuts, this news isn't positive. You know, sometimes we're in a good is bad and bad is good scenario. You know, how it goes. And, like, that's why Bitcoin's down from this. Markets are down. This is such a small position, though. I'm going to see if we can get a little bit more. We're going to take half off there. Look at this drop. There you go. You'd love to see it. I'm going to cut that right there. Alt the dip? I don't know. I made money. Okay with that. I'm happy with that. I think it's... Our prices are going up. This Korean chip industry is facing mounting pressure from escalating power prices. Alright guys, so I could have held that short maybe a little bit longer, but I'll wait. Could have held that short. Think it's economy GDP stronger should be positive even for rates. I don't get it. Let's see how it goes. So you think stronger GDP is positive for rate cuts? I don't think so necessarily. I think I mean obviously stronger GDP is less justifying of rate cuts. You cut rates when the economy's weak. If the economy is a full percentage point stronger than expected and over 4% GDP, it's a much harder argument to make regarding rate cuts. I'm not really picking sides here, but like that's what it is. It's a much harder argument to make for rate cuts because, you know, 4.3% GDP is 4.3% GDP. Now, the question is the accuracy of these numbers. Here, let me end this poll. Al made a terrible mistake cutting rates in December. I don't know, 84% no rate cut. Yeah, I'm sure the Fed watch tool is going to be decreasing now on this report. And I'm not really picking sides here. I'm not really on a side. I think, yeah, look, odds of a rate cut have gone down to 15.5%. They're at 17, 18% earlier this morning. What about the unemployment rate? Yeah, look, I think labor market has shown weakness, and maybe it hasn't edged into GDP yet. It's possible that's the case as well. You know, like people get really political with it, and I'm not really political. You know, again, for me, I'm okay with us cutting rates. I don't want to see us go into a recession because then we have to super ease to get out of it and super print, and I'm not really interested in that either. But I also think inflation has gone up a lot in the last 5 or 6 years. And we should make it a priority to keep it in check too. And so I'm kind of like small rate cuts, no big quantitative easing is kind of what I would do is do small rate cuts without doing QE. And I know not doing QE, that might bother Bitcoin people. I know you guys want QE. I get it. I'm in crypto. I'm in Bitcoin. I want it to go up. But I don't think we should ease to get out of it because if Bitcoin goes up but inflation spikes, kind of a scratch, you know? Well, they kind of started QE, but not technically the same. Unemployment rate uptick. Some of that might be due to the shutdown. Rate cuts can cause inflation, but again, super printing causes more. Again, I think both sides dislike me. What's a good poll to ask right now? What's a good question for the poll? Let me know. Again, the U.S. economy, 4.3% quarter 3 initial estimate, which is apparently the fastest pace in 2 years. Why not long it even now? Look, guys, look, when data comes out, it's not like I'm buying it and I'm sitting on it for 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 days, 2 years. I am buying it and getting in and out quick, or I'm shorting it and getting in and out quick. I'm scalping these moves in futures day trading. What I'm doing. And so, you know, you might be short bias longer term or long bias longer term. It doesn't mean I'm against you. I'm taking little slivers here. Because why? Because there's variance. It's the data. Do you believe these numbers? I already bought Nike this morning. I added a little bit more to a previous position this morning. What I did. And I'm green on the day in it. We'll see what happens. Again, Nvidia is still breaking down though this morning here. Silver contracting a little bit as well, almost up to $71. Bitcoin still trying to get back up. 87.5s for Bitcoin. Do you have a favorite child? What kind of question is that, bro? Of course not. I love them both the same. Now, I might prefer to hang out with one of them more than the other. And that preference is for my daughter because she's just older and cooler. And I can watch movies with her. And my son is young. I like playing video games with my son more. I like hanging out with my daughter more. But I love them the same. They're both good kids. Mostly. Do you think the new chairman will start quantitative easing? You know, it's not like he can, like, they have to vote on it. Even with the new chairman, it's not like he can come in and be like, this is my Fed now. Let's super ease, cut rates 100 basis points, you know, and you can't stop me. They have to vote on it. It's a democracy. They got to vote on it. I play Halo, COD. With him. All right, guys. Again, Nvidia is still breaking down, testing the lows of the day. Let's see if it continues to drop here. I've looked at the tape everywhere. I don't really see any news that should drive this down. The only thing I can really think of is a delayed response to the GDP data. All right, we're at 182 for Nvidia. Geopolitical tensions, yeah, that might be true. Redbook showed up at 7.2%. Previous was 6.2% for the US Redbook. I don't think that's going to move things, but it's interesting. We also have industrial production numbers showing up and capacity utilization numbers show up at 8:15 market time in about 20 minutes. We'll see what that looks like. Another question. Do you guys think we should do quantitative easing? Yeah, rest in peace. Do you guys think we should do quantitative easing right now? I personally do not. Because again, a little history lesson for you guys. I teach this history lesson a lot, but I think it's important to understand this lesson in the context of current markets. 2020 happened. The Fed has to maintain balance. If things get really dire for the labor market, the Fed steps in and they ease. They don't want to hit a recession or worse, right? So 2020 happens. And there were problems, you know, lockdowns, supply chain issues, all these different things happened. And so the Fed stepped in and tried to save us from 2020. And so they super eased. They lowered interest rates to almost zero. They printed money. Quantitative easing is when you create online money, basically. When they create online money and then use that online money to buy up bonds and other assets, injecting liquidity, helping bring interest rates down and more. But it's a more desperate thing, and this can cause more inflation than anything else. And so in 2020, we did that. We brought rates to zero. We did quantitative easing. We printed money, basically. And, you know, we did rebound a little bit faster from all that stuff. But the consequence was 2 years later, inflation went up to 9 point something% for CPI inflation. And so inflation spiked because of it. And so then the Fed has to play the other end of the dual mandate, which is inflation being low. And so then they raise rates 500 basis points, which pushed the economy down a little bit, stopped spending as much, and, you know, kind of helped lower inflation. Inflation eventually slowed, but inflation doesn't go down, it slows down. And so we're stuck with those prices that we got from the super easing and all the other stuff that we had in 2020. It wasn't just the easing that caused it. It was lockdowns, it was supply problems, it was all these different things caused inflation. And we're stuck with those prices. People are not used to that. Even still, people are not used to paying those prices. And so here we are 5 years later from that, and people are still saying inflation is rampant, and inflation's at 2 or 3% right now, 2 point something or 3%. But it's not like it was in 2022. It's not like it was in 2023. But with that said, I don't necessarily want to see us super ease again right now. I don't, even with the weakness that we're seeing in the labor market, and I think there is justifiable, you know, I think there is enough weakness to justify small cuts. But I don't think we should print. It's still likely that we're going to print a lot next year. But yeah, that's kind of where we are now. I just don't want to see inflation spike too much again. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And so that's the history lesson of the last 5 years in economic policy. And again, now people are pushing for printing again. Crypto's pushing for printing again. And I get it, but I'm also worried about it. Anyways, look at the NASDAQ fall here, guys. Look at the NASDAQ drop. We're seeing another big pullback in markets here. Whoa. And then it retraced back up. But look at, this is NVIDIA cracking lows. Look at NVIDIA crack lows. It looks like it's just NVIDIA momentum. But let me take a look at the tape. Okay, the US posts a Federal Register note on semiconductors from China. So again, the US posts a Federal Register note on semiconductors from China. Let me dig deeper into this post here to see if this is what's causing this drop. It looks like it could be. It says US are to take tariff action on semiconductors from China. So again, according to the US trade rep, the US is going to take tariff action on semiconductors from China. That's the news I'm seeing right now. That's what caused this little dip here. But again, we're starting to kind of pop back higher here. But again, that was the U.S. is going to take tariff action on semiconductors from China. It's kind of vague, though. I'm looking more deeply into it. But yeah, no, 100%. I understand. Again, quantitative easing and money printing is a more desperate thing, right? They don't do it all the time, as they shouldn't. They do it when it's desperate. And I think 2020 was justifiably desperate. Should we have printed as much as we did? That's the argument I think you can make, is no. But it's easy to look at the inflation outcome 5 years later and say, hey, we shouldn't have done that. But at the time, it was scary. And so, I give them a little bit of leeway with it. Yeah, well, NVIDIA's not really reacting negatively. NASDAQ is reacting negatively, though. Here's Meta. AMD's down on this as well. Again, ServiceNow is going to acquire Armis for $7.75 billion in cash. Okay, so the U.S. doesn't specify tariff rate on semiconductors from China, but they're going to take tariff action on semiconductors from China is the news. But they didn't specify the tariff rate that they would be putting on them. And again, guys, tomorrow we have in 15 minutes we're gonna have industrial production. I don't think it's gonna move anything. We do have CB consumer confidence at 10, and then tomorrow we got jobless claims unemployment at 8:30. Although again, I'll probably start my stream a little bit later tomorrow, just because I want to. I think the perspective with these data should be realistic rather than depending on it for market movement. This is why we can't have affordable EVs. Taco time. So we did have ECB settled. Okay, so US says tariffs on China semiconductors are going to be 0 until 2027. I don't want to short this. It looks like a short, but it could also just be a really choppy day, so that lends more potential to you know what, I'm gonna buy this now. And I'm buying it because I think we're not gonna get tariffs until 2027 on China. China semiconductors tariff will be 0 until 2027, and I think that's an optimistic thing. And I also think we're down a lot on good GDP data, so we'll add to this. We have a cushion on the day already. There we go. Look at that pop. I'm gonna take a lot of this off already. Another. Love to see it. And I'm gonna cut the rest up here. So far so good here, chat. Data's right at the bottom. Quarter 3 GDP 4.3% versus 3.3 or 3.2% as expected. A full percentage point plus, larger than expected for quarter 3 initial estimate data. Now we'll get the first revision of that data next month in January. And we got a lot of stuff happening in January as well. It looked like durable goods. Durable goods was bad. PCE was flat. Durable goods was bad. It was negative 2.2%. I think they expected negative 1.5%. So it was weaker than expected for durable goods. But the GDP data was strong, and PCE was flat at 2.9% is what I remember. How could the guessers be so far off? Honestly, it was funny because somebody right before GDP dropped was like, GDP's going to be 4 point something percent. And I almost was critical of him. I was like, no, it's not, bro. What are you talking about? And then it was. So you were right. I was wrong. You're very good looking and I'm not attractive. You know, whatever that is, it Happy Gilmore? No, is it? Yeah, it's Happy Gilmore. Whatever the Happy Gilmore quote is, that's me right now. I was just wrong. I'm sorry, guys. We're all wrong sometimes. Over short? Yeah, quarter over quarter. Yeah, GDP quarter over quarter, quarter 3, 4.3%. Last time was 3.8. That was 4.3. All right, guys, you guys red or green today? We got 24 minutes left, 23 minutes until the opening bell. Top 3 most rightest. Top 5, sometimes wrong. Definitely sometimes wrong. Definitely top most unattractive. Definitely top. Who's the top 2, though? I'm definitely in there. Again, U.S. Trade Rep says U.S. tariffs on China semiconductors are at 0% until 2027. Yeah, silver. 70 plus. Over 70 plus. Kind of wild. Started to dip here. We're starting to test these lows as well. I caught the bounce, but I got out. Bitcoin pushing back up, though, almost flat from this data release for Q3 GDP data. Again, durable goods showed up at negative 2.2% versus negative 1.5 expected. PCE 2.9 for Q3. Bro, we need the opening bell. I'm going to stream for the open. I only stopped it early yesterday because I was traveling. Yeah, we're streaming for the opening bell today. Don't worry. Inflation's not in the 2% range, it's in the 3+% range. Yeah, I mean, it's around 3%, I think, right now. Books are bad. Also, easing the Fed was not. Also, the easing of the Fed was not the cause of all the inflation. Yeah, it's not the cause. Like, again, I think the nature of 2020 was a lot of the cause, like supply problems, right? And again, once prices go up, it's hard to get them to go back down. And so once we had some of those supply problems from 2020, prices were just a little bit higher. Not just a little bit, but prices were higher afterwards. Right, so it wasn't just the printing, but the printing certainly contributed to it. There was a lot of things though. There was stimulus checks that certainly caused some inflation for sure. Giving people free money is generally going to cause inflation, and so those definitely did. Supply problems, you know, quantitative easing, low interest rate environment, like all of that stuff kind of contributed to it. Yeah, for sure. Supply problems is what it is. Yeah. All right, Bitcoin up to 87.7s here. So Bitcoin's starting to rebound some. How do I get the time to stick? It auto changes my time. What do you think about crypto right now? Do we see an uptrend next year? Maybe. I hope so. I want it to go up. Yeah, like I hope we do. I'm not gonna go too deep into politics, but not generally. I think maybe it's a previous president's fault. Not necessarily. I think again, I think the inflation mostly stemmed from 2020. Everything that went on in 2020, and I would say it's not really anybody's fault. Maybe you could argue we overprinted, and that might be true. But again, Fed's independent. And so I think the political game is blame whomever you can. But blame whoever you can. I can't really get mad at printing money in 2020 because I think when you look at things from the outside and you're like, hey, how do we avoid a recession? Well, we got to print, you know. And I'm not really against that. I think if we didn't print in 2020 and we entered a much deeper recession or depression or whatever, then people will be mad at that, and people will be criticizing the Fed, saying, hey, they're just sitting around, they're not helping. And so either way, we're going to get criticism in both directions, right? But again, I'm neutral on all that stuff. I don't really pick sides. I'm not a big politics person, to be honest. People want me to be. I'm really not. I don't stress myself out about politics. And both sides would probably dislike me. Hey, what's up, Bruce? Don't forget you have jiu-jitsu class today. My knee, I tore my MCL it, you know, a couple months ago. I still haven't really gotten back to it. I'll be back next month probably. I'll be back maybe next week, but I tore my MCL, partial tear, but it's still not quite like I'm fine. It doesn't hurt at all, but yeah, I'm alright. But I haven't really trained much last few months. I've trained a little bit. We'll see the Q at 326 today, maybe. Yeah, let's not argue too much about politics, guys. Like, I get it. I'm not against either side here. Y'all chill. You know. All right, guys. Silver testing highs of the day again. Bitcoin still pushing back. Nvidia at 182.40s. Hey, Merry Christmas, bro. Happy holidays. GDP was over a full percentage point stronger than expected, Steve. It came in at 4.3% quarter-over-quarter versus 3.2% expected. Much stronger than expected. Durable goods were weaker than expected. They showed up at negative 2.2% versus negative 1.5% expected. PCE outlook was basically the same as it was. There was kind of a nothing there. But yeah, that's where we're at now. Markets have mostly reacted somewhat negative to this report. They went up originally, and then we kind of pivoted back to the downside. So, but we're net negative from when the report came out. Heading into the opening bell in 15 minutes. Love watching your lives every morning, brother. You're the only person who is 100% neutral, and I cannot not find that nowadays. So thank you, Nicholas. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we're kind of consolidating sideways here, guys. We got 15 minutes left, 14 minutes. I'm neutral. People don't like it, but I am, you know. Yeah. Market doesn't like good GDP data. It's probably because they want rate cuts. Bitcoin wants easy. You know, so Bitcoin wants QE, more rate cuts, and with 4.3% of GDP, full percentage point stronger than expected. It's a little bit of a harder argument for it. Again, leading into next year, I think we might get 2 rate cuts next year. I don't know though, maybe 3, maybe 1 in the first half, 2 in the second half is what I'm going to go with. And I'm just going to put out there, I was right about my 25 rate cut prediction that I did in like August this year, so y'all will never hear the end of it. But yeah, I'd love to see it. Data's now. Yeah, we got the industrial production and capacity utilization numbers come out. I don't really think it's going to move markets, though. The president just tweeted. Industrial production showed up at 0.2 versus 0.1%. Capacity utilization 76 versus 75.9%. Pretty flat there. Again, so industrial production is 0.2 versus 0.1, a little bit stronger. Capacity utilization was 76% versus 75.9%, so a little bit better there as well. Slightly higher than expected for capacity utilization and industrial production numbers. The president just tweeted. He said, quote, "The tariffs are responsible for the great USA economic numbers just announced, and they will only get better. Also, no inflation and great national security. Pray for the U.S. Supreme Court, U.S. President," end quote. So again, I'm neutral. I'm just covering these tweets because sometimes they can move markets. Again, he said, quote, "The tariffs are responsible for the great USA economic numbers just announced, and they will only get better. Also, no inflation and great national security. Pray for the U.S. Supreme Court, President DJT," end quote. What he said. You don't want to lose subs. I mean, I would argue if I went really political, it might actually help. You know what I mean? I'm genuinely neutral in real life. People think it's just I'm pretty neutral in real life. I mean, I'm a capitalist, you know. I don't think any other governmental structure has ever really effectively worked, especially in modern times. Usually they cause much more problems. So I'm a capitalist, but I'm also, you know, I'm not gonna go into it. I'm pretty neutral. I'm pretty in the middle. Both sides would probably dislike me, realistically, and that's where I'd prefer it. Yeah, I mean, look, presidents on both sides. It's not just one side, on both sides. If you get much stronger GDP, you're about to hear it from the president, you know. Doesn't matter which side. I can't even knock it, you know. Same thing with the other side. There's a very specific playbook, and it goes like this. If GDP numbers are strong, even if inflation's risky, they're going to hyper-focus on GDP. If inflation's going down, but the labor market's struggling, they're going to hyper-focus on inflation going down. You know, they're going to pick which side's the best, and they're going to focus on that, and they're going to say, no, don't worry about the other side. You know? GDP numbers were good, you know. Again, I don't know if inflation... I wouldn't say there's no inflation. I think that's definitely not true. But, you know, it is what it is. No inflation when you shop at Costco, you feel immediate inflation. Yeah, that might be true. Inflation's 3%. But again, I like I said earlier, a lot of the inflation that y'all are feeling still now is from 2020, 2022. Because prices don't go down, they slow down. You know, so you're not actually going to see literal price drops. You're going to see slowdown in the gain of inflation. And so most people are still unhappy with that specifically. Not necessarily with the inflation rate right now, but with the 9+% inflation we saw from 2022. That was from 2020, right? Like, that's why most people are still like, inflation. It's not necessarily the current inflation rate. It's more so the huge price increases we've seen over the last 5 years. So yeah, we got the opening bell, 10 minutes. We'll see what happens. Does your son know how to trade? Not yet. I'm not really going to give him started day trading that early. I might teach him how to invest and about economics, but I'm not really going to start him in trading. Manufacturing output. Let me see if we had anything. Too early to day trade. I don't want that stress in his life. Not really. I don't think that's necessarily good for him. I haven't really taught him poker yet either. It's just too early. Jobless claims come out tomorrow, Ty. The jobless claims are coming out tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll cover it when it drops. Yeah, I mean, poker trading, very similar. Calculating pot odds in poker is very similar to risk-reward calculation in trading. It's the same thing, you know. An example of this is like if you got 6 callers in a 6-person table and you have 6-7 offsuit, you know, while normally you shouldn't make that call, but if it's only $10 in a $300 pot or whatever to make the call, you might as well throw in that $10 chips and you know, see if 6-7 hits, you know, because then the reward you're going to get from that is much stronger than what you're investing into that pot, if that makes sense in poker, versus like a, you know, versus a 15-to-1 reward target in a trade. You know, same concept, right? Tiny risk, big reward is justifiable, and so it's very similar. Did I say that? Man, maybe that's just subconscious. Yeah, variance is the same too. You might lose with pocket aces. You might win with 2-7. That's how it goes. Yeah, I mean, the VIX is up because the NASDAQ is down, right? The VIX is going to go up as the NASDAQ drops. So we got red action on the NASDAQ. The VIX is going to make higher moves. Oh, it is. Okay, so yeah, the U.S. trade rep said the United States will take action against China's semiconductor industry, setting a new tariff on ships from China from June 23rd, 27 that have 0% duties currently. So we still got time for that, though. Oracle starting to rebound back up, though. I do see Oracle start to pop up a little bit here. I'm looking at NVIDIA. I want to see if it starts to rebound as well, but silver's consolidating sideways. Here's Oracle. Back up to 196.60s here. We got CB consumer confidence in like 35 minutes. I don't think it's going to move markets that much. We'll see. GDP already came out. Maybe we'll get a delayed response at the opening bell. We got 5 minutes left until the opening bell. We also should be getting the market on open sometime around now. The market on open should be happening. Look at NVIDIA. So the market on open should be happening right around now. I don't know what it's going to be. But BCB sells 500 million in USD auctions for the repurchase deal. Yeah, we're gonna be day trading live today. We're already pretty green, so we got a cushion. The old ones. All right, guys. So starting to push up. We're at 25,630s. Be down 1 to 2%. I'm probably being dumb. That's the opening volume that you get on each side. Indexes. The industrial production again negative 0.1%. 0.1. And the president said the tariffs are responsible for the good GDP data we're seeing. Bull or bearish at the opening bell? Let's do a poll here. We got 2.5 minutes. Again, bull or bear at market open. There's the poll. You can vote on it now. GDP being stronger might be bullish. Yeah, maybe it's bullish. Again, it depends on if the market, how much the market wanting, depends on how much the market wanting rate cuts influences the direction, because stronger GDP means potentially less cuts. Meta just cracked lows. Nvidia just spiked up here, 182s. That's probably the market on open here, influencing it. Oracle's up there. All right, Nasdaq's popping higher here. Nvidia higher as well. It's looking less likely that we're going to get a rate cut in January. Now, remember, we still have like a labor report coming out ahead of this, but odds dropped pretty big this morning. They were at 17 or 18. They're now at 13%. So now it's almost 10% likely that we're going to get a pause. But again, we do have more labor reports, more CPI inflation reports, more PCE inflation reports, and more coming out next month ahead of the Fed decision at the end of January. And so that could sway it either way. We'll have to wait and see. But as of now, it's looking unlikely. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream. We appreciate it. Yeah. Hey, yeah, good luck. Let's see if we got a bullish opening bell. Here's the bell. If that was delayed, hit the live button next to the play button, put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream. We're going to start potentially day trading. Nasdaq green. Maybe we're getting a delayed GDP response. I'm not sure. But look at this move in the Nasdaq here. This is specifically Google is up. Nvidia is up significantly at 183s right now. Look at this pop. Up to 680s right now. Over 680s. Nvidia now technically green on the day here. Wow. Oracle's kind of slow, but man, look at Nvidia run. AMD and Nvidia microchips running here. Nvidia up to 184s. Oh, look at this candle here at the opening bell. Strong open today, guys. Strong open. So far, at least. All the way to 715s here. Bulls are still in control. Wow. Look at that move. We're up to 725s right now, really, right around 725s. Now we're over 725s. I'm gonna have to draw some levels on the charts up here. I don't have any. All right, let's look at them. 75. Got 50 here. Got this high right here underneath, right here. 800s. Got this little level at 740s. We'll leave it at 800. What candles? Nvidia pulling back a little bit though. Nike, guys, has spiked. Look at Nike. Had a green on the day, rebounded all the way back up. Is this the Santa rally coming in right now? I might buy 700s. We get a dip down to 7s. Still too close to the bell though. We're only 2 minutes in. We got 710s. I don't know if I'm gonna get 7s. Get a dip. Seven tens looks like it wants to hold. All right, we're gonna buy this. It breaks the rules. All right, there we go. We're at 2. think maybe 3 right here. I got a cushion on the day, so we can justifiably. Got in a little early. Let's see if we bounce at 700s. We're gonna bounce at 75s. 200 exponentials way down there. But I gotta be careful here. Let's see if we pop back higher. There we go. I'm gonna unload a lot of this up here just because less risk. There we go, we're green again. Y'all can't see this. Sorry, what account am I trading right now? The heck am I? Weird, dude. Let me trade on a different account. Alright, now we're gonna buy this again. Combine account I was just trading on apparently. There we go. Nice. I'm gonna take some off. I am breaking my rules, so good. That last loss was just on a funded account or a combine account. Now we're green in our funded, and it kind of unlocks our day to trade. We're gonna add some more to this. There we go. Take a little bit off there. Got a big cushion here. I don't want to add more to this though, so I'm gonna give it a second, and then we're gonna try to get out at around 7:15. I'll cut it early if I need to. It's a little early in the day. All right, I'm gonna cut it right there. Very green. If 700 holds it up, it looks like it is. Look at AMD, guys. AMD at 216s. We got CB consumer confidence at 10 a.m. Yeah, the imbalance showed up. S&P negative 97 million, NASDAQ plus 15 million, Dow down 42 million. It could be a trap. I don't know. You never know. I do want to buy this right here, but I'm gonna wait. Not an investment professional. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Look at this push. I wanted the $700 level. I ended up buying like right here. Luckily it was a combine account, but I don't know why it's letting me trade this combine account. It's weird. Very strange. We got funded in another one yesterday. Maybe I'll activate that one too. Try to buy this here again. It's in the same combine account. Here, let me. Why does it keep? We're gonna buy this right here. All the we'll add to it. If Hey, thank you, Crypto. Appreciate the donation, brother. Man. Add to it here. I'm gonna cut it back. Got out mostly flat on that one. Please put on the Game Boy music. I don't know which one's the Game Boy music. Is this close enough? Google flying up right now. Yeah, Google's flying up right now. Yeah, is this a Santa rally, guys? Looking at our poll, we did a poll. 63% are bullish. Thank you for the donation, though, brother. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah. Got some red showing up. Do I want to buy 700s again here? I don't know. It looks kind of flaggy right now, but I don't trust it. Buy or sell right now, guys. Let me know. Not an investment professional. Check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel? I'm day trading on a funded account on Top Step. No PDT rule on futures. Get you around the PDT rule. They recently lowered their activation fees. It's the best way to learn, in my opinion. I mean, I'm biased because I get paid by them, but it's genuinely useful for traders, in my opinion. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose money, so limiting your risk makes sense. Here's the link. Check it out. Again, not an investment professional. Understand all the stuff on screen. Don't copy me. Top 3 least financial professionals in the world right now. We are getting a dip. There's 700s here. Again, I don't... There's a... Look at this level right here. But I don't trust it. I would buy it, but I just don't trust it. Bitcoin back down as well. Yeah, maybe we're just going to get chopped today. I'm not sure. We do have CP consumer confidence in 20. Stay flat? Maybe. Look at Bitcoin fall right here. Bitcoin's down. Oracle's down too. I mean, CB consumer confidence is probably not going to move anything, to be honest. I mean, I should tell you it's the biggest report of the year. Try to get those views in. I think I'm going to change my name to Honest John. All right. You're welcome, guys. Are we in a Santa rally, maybe? I don't know. Maybe we are. I don't know. Chat? Are we? Is this a Santa rally? Let me know. Santa's busy. Technically, no. I don't think so. Yes. Too much fake already? No. Bitcoin doesn't seem like it. Hey, thank you, Jay. Appreciate it, brother. You too, man. Yeah, I didn't trust it. I didn't trust the dip. Top 3 least trusting dip in the world right now. Maybe I should have bought the dip. I don't know what to do here, to be honest. I mean, we're pulling back. It looks like a dip buy, but still don't trust it. If we get over 7 and then dip down to it, maybe I'll start buying that dip now. Should have bought the dip. It was the dippiest dip I ever seen. I didn't buy it. I don't know why. I'm staring at charts too long. Markets, yes. Crypto Santa's flying down the Alps with no brakes and an avalanche behind it. That's a rally too. Santa rally is the dumbest term in markets. Yair, don't rain on my parade, brother. All right, I'm gonna buy this. You guys talk me into it. I'm buying it. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. add to this down here. Get an immediate bounce. Go. I'm off up here. Go. More. We add a little bit back. Retracement. Go. We're off. Sideways chop today. It's the day before Christmas Eve. Go. I'm gonna cut it right there. Like that little micro back. Maybe it continues higher. We're green on the trade. Why'd you guys let me sell? I blame you guys here. I think it's gonna push higher now. All I know is it's definitely not my fault. My stocks are red on the day. I was trading on Christmas Eve, usually bullish or bearish. I would say it's pretty cool. Sometimes we get big red moves Christmas Eve. I've seen it before, but it's there's variance. Like, it's not like it's gonna do one specific thing. I should have held, guys. Like I said, I'm blaming you guys. How could you let me do this? All right. CP consumer confidence in 15 minutes. Hey, see ya, Corey. Have a good day, brother. I don't know if I need this coffee, man. It's not my preferred coffee. Just plain coffee. Give me some hazelnut, or give me like some holiday cheer in my coffee. That is just plain. Do I buy this dip now to 715s is what I'm wondering. Someone trades Christmas Day. Markets are closed. Are they trading paper clips? Might be more profitable than futures stocks. Options are stingy this morning. That's what options are, bro. They're always stingy. Restrictive, you know? Too many conditions. Oh, they open on 6 p.m. Christmas Day. Y'all are right again, I'm wrong. Yeah, tomorrow, Christmas Eve, it closes at 1 o'clock. I'll still cover the jobless claims unemployment report that comes out at 8:30, but again, I'll probably start my stream a little bit later. Speaking of that, let me schedule that now. Bitcoin is still breaking lows of Not lows of the day, but close to them. Bitcoin's testing lows of the day. Lows of the day, it looks like, are right around 87,000 on Bitcoin. So lows are right around here. I think. Yeah, that's lows of the day. So we're getting closer to that. Dude, I tried to get my daughter to watch the Krampus movie. My daughter's like, hey, let's watch a scary movie. And I'm not a big slasher movie guy. You know? And so I'm like, you want to watch a horror movie? I tried to get her to watch Jeepers Creepers. She made it about 20 minutes in. Said she's never watching that again. I showed her the trailer for Krampus. She's like, oh, let's watch a horror movie. I'm like, all right, let's watch Krampus. Watch the trailer. She said no. She ran to her room, scared. So. All right, guys, NASDAQ up to 750s. NASDAQ up 750s right now, 25,750. Look at that level. Reject it. Let's see if it continues to try here. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 are good. Everything else is terrible. Especially the last one was terrible. Show her the real terror. December price action. Yeah, my daughter likes to act like she likes horror movies, and then you try to show her genuinely good horror movies like Jeepers Creepers. Can't handle it. I'm not gonna say she's a poser. Alright, so Bitcoin's testing lows of the day. It's at 87. Yeah, Bitcoin down to 87,000 here. Yeah, well, Bitcoin wants easing and stronger GDP. While it might make the regular market react positively, it's not going to help Bitcoin because Bitcoin wants easing and super strong GDP contradicts easing argument, you know. And so that's what's going on right now with Bitcoin is 4.3% GDP means we'll probably ease less potentially, and that's not good. Bitcoin wants easing. Alright, I'm gonna look at 700s again here. Kind of a greedy buy, though. We've tested this level like 3 times. Yeah, we got consumer confidence in 9 minutes. I'll cover it. I don't know how, you know, influential it's gonna be. But I'll cover it. I should have bought 7. It got down to 708 though, so never really tested it. That's alright. Higher lows here though. Where's gold at? I haven't honestly looked at gold yet, but I know silver and gold have been flying high, but they're coming down now. Less market fears. So I don't know what I'd do. Bitcoin cracks lows. Again, lows at 87,000 roughly for right now. Alright, we're gonna buy 715 here. If we pop real quick. Fast. Big. There we go. I'm gonna take half off there just to protect the trade. We'll scalp right at that level. Pretty strict on it as it retested though. Love a retracement all the way back up there, but the longer it takes, the less I like it. Oh, there we go. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna cut it right there. Stop the movement. We got CB consumer confidence dropping in 5 minutes though. Yeah, I mean, people are traveling today. Probably one of the busiest travel days of the year. Bitcoin just broke lows of the day. Down to under 87,000 now at 86,970s for Bitcoin. 86,970s. You can see it right here. This is Bitcoin. It's breaking down. Just cracked 87,000. What's the blue line? They're just milestone levels. Oh, you mean this right here is the 200 exponential, if you're talking about this one. Yeah, that 750 level, look at this. VIX below 14. Probably starting to climb up a little bit right now though, huh? No, not yet. We're still green. Yeah, that's why Bitcoin dumping down here. Look at it, 86 8s, 86 760s. Bitcoin falling quickly on this low break. About A&M losing though, guys. Listen, I was rooting for him honestly. I'm an LSU fan, but next year's our year for LSU. A&M. Bitcoin 86 sevens right now, 86 sevens. Yeah, microchips originally reacted positively. A lot of them are starting to come back down though. Nvidia still green on the day, but retracing a little bit. Bitcoin under, again, under 87,000, crack lows. I'm looking at this level now. 200 X. I have a cushion I could use on the day too, but I'm going to start this trade small, try to make it a little bit longer term. Add down to it. Add one more here. 3. Bounce at the 200 DM, pop back higher. What I'm looking for. Go back to green. I cut a piece. Give it a second to rise more. Another piece off. Go. Add a little bit to it here. That off. Got it right there. Alright, so far so good. Again, I gotta get out of this because CB consumer confidence drops into 200 EMA. Again, one of my favorite strategies, I use this strategy a lot, is if we get the 200 exponential right around one of my levels, a bounce can happen a lot right there. And you can see exactly where we bounce, right at the 200 exponential blue line here. Traders just watch it on the 1 minute chart for some reason. Algorithms, I think, is what watches it and causes some of the bounces here just from this. All right, guys, we got about a minute and a half before CB confidence. I'll cover it. I don't think it's big, but I'll cover it nonetheless. It's expected at 91.7. 91.7. Previously, it was 88.7. So 91.7. Previously, it was 88.7. We'll see what we get with this, but it's not a huge report. We'll see. Give it its time. Yeah, I expect it to be kind of rangy today just based off of the day before Christmas Eve. I think people are traveling. Liquidity is going to be generally lower outside of like the GDP report and more. So I do think we could chop sideways. The data might influence it though, so we'll see. But all right, here we go. Data release in 30 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We'll see what we get. Here we go. 15 seconds. Again, I don't think this report's necessarily big enough to end. But we'll see. And here's the report right now. CB consumer confidence 91.7 is what was expected. It ended up showing up right now. And it showed up at 89.1. Weaker than expected CB consumer confidence. 89.1 versus 91.7. Expected 89.1 versus 91.7. Expected here. So it did show up weaker than expected by some. Roughly where it was last time, but weaker than the expectation number here. Yeah. Again, he showed up at 89.1 versus 91.7 expected here. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm going to cut out. Again, check out TopStep. You want to help support the channel. No PDT and futures. You can day trade the S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, Russell, gold, commodities. Very similar to day trading stocks when most day traders lose money. So if you want to check it out, there's the link. Tomorrow, link is pinned to the top of the chat. Tomorrow, we do have, happy holidays to you all. Y'all be safe tomorrow if I don't see you. We do have jobless claims at 8:30. I'll start the stream a little bit later at like 7:45 in the morning, 45 minutes before the release, and then we'll cover the release, and maybe we'll cut out early, depending on the price action. But y'all be good today, guys. Have a great day. Be safe. Love to everybody here. Have a happy holidays. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. As soon as we close the stream, it should bring you to tomorrow's stream. Yeah, y'all be good. Have a great day. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Y'all be safe.